On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup Classic. They're off in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Off in the Longines Breeders' Cup Turf. They're off in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. They're off in the Longines Breeders' Cup Distaff. Declaration of war! Will they charge a final man? Macho Man! This is unbelievable! Zenyatta! What a performance! One we'll never forget. Looked impossible. Golden Cobra, a true champion. 3 Breeders' Cup wins. Olivia Pellier, the perfect ride. Golden Cobra has won. As they come to the wire, they're not to the park. It's Beholder! Chancelada for 16th hole. Macaulay runs at him. Chancelada and Macaulay. Macaulay's a master. Macaulay wins the sprint. Oh, what a horse he is. Hit Charge Brandy has gone all the way. She's 60-1. Wise Dan's got him. Wise Dan, brilliant in the mile. As they come to the wire, a triple crown winner, a Breeders' Cup winner, a horse of a lifetime. American Sparrow has won the Breeders' Cup Classic.
And what is up? Day 1 of Breeders' Cup 2021 is in the books, and yeah, we got some stuff to talk about, huh? We're jumping right into this thing, guys. We got to the Airbnb as fast as we could after the last race, which happened to be this year. We wondered, why are they putting the Juvenile turf to the last race of the day? Well, maybe we know now. Yeah, there's some shit's gone down. We how do you guys? Do you maybe want to take this shot of this of like breaking this down? Someone maybe you didn't watch it. What happened?
Okay, so the honest answer of what happened, right?
Like started from like they're going into the gate.
Yeah, and then you know
all horses are in the race.
And Twilight Gleaming, the 6th horse, just outbreaks the 8th.
We're talking about the last.
Oh,
race.
you want to talk about the last race, not the turf sprint? Did something happen in the last race?
Yes.
Okay, so they get in the gate. They start in the gate. The 2-horse flips over, and so that creates obviously
Albar
the
2
flips over, and in that case, that means in California the horse is automatically scratched.
Yeah. Right.
Well, then they make a decision, which I think is probably the right one here, to open up the front of the gate for the 1 horse, so the 1 horse can walk out of the front of the gate because it's safer for the horse than to go out the back.
Right.
Well, then California stewards decide the veterinarian staff decide that we should scratch the 1 as well as the 2. So the 2 comes off the board, and then the 1 comes off the board. And because, you know, it's not 2021 and we aren't really technically advanced, we lose all the wagers on the 1 inside the board. So basically, the 1 is scratched too by mistake. Yep. And so then the veterinarians decide, after seeing that, it's okay for the 1 to run. So then the 1 gets to run for purse money only, which really screws everyone who had a pick 4, a pick 5, a pick 6. It sucks for the win bettors. At least you get your money back, but it sucks for the win bettors. It sucks for the double bettors because you got $2.70 instead of what would have been a winning daily double. And it is just a big old middle finger in the face that you get to see the horse air home. That you have to watch the horse win.
Probably the most visually impressive, win of the day. And you just basically were like, well, that didn't mean anything. Although if you look at like the Breeders' Cup, he won the race. Like if you go back here 10 years from now and you say who won the 2021 Juvenile Turf, Modern Games won the Juvenile Turf, but you didn't cash on him. I didn't cash on him. No one cashed. You couldn't cash on the horse. It's insane that the horse was able to even run, and then you couldn't bet on the horse. And if we're there live, we're right there. We're sitting at some tables with like Guys Paddle and his wife, and we're right there, and we're watching. It's like the 2 scratches. We know this. Like we've seen it 100 times. The horse goes up in the gate. That horse is out. They let the 1 out. The horse stops. It's fine. Whatever. I look over. I'm like, guys, the 1. They've got the 1 scratched now. And then you're like, okay. And then like 5 minutes later, Larry Colmus comes on and says, well, the 1 now is scratched. And then like 10 minutes later, he comes back on and says, well, now he's going to be able to run for purse money only. And we're like, what is happening right now? So, okay, Halterman, I'll go with you because Modern Games was a horse that you made, no bones about. Like, this was a horse that you really liked for today, and he did his thing. He was awesome, and you unfortunately have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, it's the most dejected and pissed off, or whatever word you want to put, that I've ever felt at a racetrack, and it's not even a close second out there. It was awful. We put a lot of work into this. When those pre-entries come out 2 weeks ago, you sit there and you watch these replays of these European horses, because you guys know when the European horses their form is very tough to read and it's not very good, and we don't really have great data on them. The only way you do it is you got to go through and cycle their replays on YouTube. And this was one I immediately thought, this is a horse that's going to have a great chance to win. You can separate yourself. Somich, you talked about this earlier in the week. This is a race where it's a turf race. A lot of people are going to go deep. They think it's wide open. And really, if you have been paying attention to these replays, if he comes over that race, it's not wide open. He's going to win. And for that to happen was absolutely unbelievable. And the worst part about it is, and you guys that bought the guide or our product, we're right there singled to him in the pick 4 and the pick 5, and it would have been a cash. We've got win bets on him. Like Somich said, we've got tries and exactas where he's singled, or not singled, but he's keyed with another horse, Jared's horse. It was just,
we had to cancel the whole. We had to cancel our bets because there was literally nothing to bet.
And it's absolutely ridiculous that it's an accidental scratch, and then he's running, but we can't put him back on the toe board.
So this statement from CHRB, real quick. Prior to the start of the race, number 1, Modern Games reared up and hit the back of the gate. Number 2, Albier flipped over and became lodged underneath the starting gate. The scratch of number 2, Albar, was relayed to the stewards, and that horse was taken out of the wagering pools. Albar appears uninjured, which is great. Glad. That's good news. The veterinarian staff then relayed the second scratch of number 1, Modern Games, to the stewards based on initial observation. CHRB officials said veterinarian, I'm not going to say his name, recommended Modern Games be scratched on the assumption he had broken through the starting gate, when in fact the assistant starter opened the gate to let him out. The horse was not examined prior to being scratched. That's from Ray Pollock.
Well, and let me tell you something. If it was safe to take him out the front, then I'm all for it.
Right.
Okay, in that situation, get a lead pony over there.
Do something. Yeah.
There was nobody there. He was loose. Now, thank God, he was a very mature horse, and he didn't run off. He didn't do anything. They just kept him right there, and he was fine. Because I was sitting by Guy's Paddle, and he's in the BCBC, and he goes, how much money do I need to put? I said, do you want to win it or not? I said, go put $5,000 on him. That's how confident I am on him. I think he didn't do it. I think he put like 1,000, but
I had 800 to win on.
Yeah, but I'm not. Listen,
great.
There's a lot of bullets. You probably shouldn't have done 5. I'm speaking out of turn there, but again, when that happened, he jumped up and he canceled the bet. Now, it wouldn't have mattered, but let's say he would have ran, and he didn't have that information. To us, it just looked like he broke out of the gate. So that's another shit show of a problem that happened that will get ignored because it got worse times 10.
Well, the really shitty part is the people that got screwed are the bettors, right?
Absolutely.
It consistently happens in horse racing in this situation
Every time.
Everyone, I feel so bad for people who had pick 4s, pick 5s, and pick 6s who ended up with the 3 horse. I've had people send me a bunch of tickets where they had the 1 and the 2.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they have $1 pick 3 to the 3 horse who's paying shit because all of the 1 and 2 bettors moved to the 3.
Right.
And there's no way to figure this out where you can't have alternates. Where you have to do better.
And that's my thing. Because Jared, you like the 3, and I didn't hate the 3, but he was like 5th or 6th on my list.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here stuck with that horse.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely disgusting.
Well, and then the 4 is the winner from a pari-mutuel perspective, even though the 1 just airs the field. And that's just I have never been at a racetrack where you heard universal boos.
It was unbelievable.
When a horse crosses.
It was unbelievable. It is so funny in a year where we talk about, will Gamine get booed at Saratoga?
Yeah.
By the way,
Bob Baffert wins the Juvenile.
Won a race and nobody
Juvenile
cared.
race before.
That's how big.
Give a shit.
Yeah, that guy wins, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
It's just like because of what's happened, and yeah, it's really it's just unbelievable how this works. And you know, I'm watching the race, and all of a sudden, this horse that I've been waiting 2 weeks to watch and been excited to watch, the most exciting horse of the day for me to watch. I'm rooting for him to lose because I don't want him to win, and I know how that's going to feel. He's up the backside. It's like, yeah, he's not traveling that great. Maybe he's just not going to fire. Come around that turn, I looked at Magic and I said, this is going to be a disaster because he's winning by multiple lengths.
If you told me to start the day that Bob Baffert is going to have a horse that's going to open up because the other two Bob Bafferts didn't try into the first turn, then blocked for him, intentionally hit the 10 around the first turn, and then he rebroke in the stretch, and that wasn't the lead story of this day.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's upset about that today. Yeah, it really is great. Hey, Mike, it was good to meet you too, man. We had a lot of really nice people today, and it was great. And this was a great day until that 10th race. And it's so funny because the last person I met, we were talking about that race, and I said, I'm going to be very happy camper if that one wins. You know, talking about modern games.
Well, the 1-1. Are you a happy camper?
Yeah.
That's
what
what
you want.
that.
I'm looking at the chart right here.
And that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. The 1-1, and I've never been so mad leaving a racetrack in my life. I mean, that is fundamentally when you look at this, and you tweeted it out. If somebody said new better today, and there could have been many. This is a Breeders' Cup.
It was one of the most played days by
They're
people who
never
don't
coming
generally
back. They're never coming back.
Well, I got a bunch of texts from people, either DMs on Twitter from people that said, "What happened? I don't get it." And that's the problem. It's not easy to explain. You have other people saying, "Can someone explain this to me?" And you have Jeremy Balin on there saying, "I need more than 160 characters to try and explain what just happened." And it's a bad look again.
Yeah, and the thing you don't like, even if we are in the game, it's like, okay, how much time do you have? We didn't explain this to you. You know, that's the thing, and that's the irritating thing is, you know, I like Dakota Gold. I like Dakota Gold at a price.
Sure, well, that's the other thing.
It's like
it's 7-2 is a lukewarm favorite. Now
we're off the favorite of the race. Like, I mean, come on. Like, I tried to beat Modern Games. I had Modern Games second. Like, I liked Modern Games. I tried to beat him, but it's like it just no matter how you wanted to play this race, whether it be like Dakota Gold, the price, or nothing worked. You couldn't. I mean, I'm gonna guess like 1% of the people that like were happy because they had Tesla. I mean,
it would have been so fun to come on here and talk about how well the last 4 races went and the modern game there. And we could talk about how the one horse, the Jose Ortiz's ride. I can't remember the name of the horse right now. Pizza Bianca, who weaved through traffic and just made this unbelievable move and was electric. And then we could make fun of Bob Baffert for a little while and talk about that. And this is now the focus. And it's just like, come on, do better. Just do better. It's 2021. How can you not track the freaking bets on the one horse by now to re-put the one horse in the pool? There was no reason to scratch this horse. They do it, and then you completely screw everyone over who had any interest in the one. And now it was just ridiculous to see the 4-6 up there. 4-6-11 as you try. 4-6 is the exact. Like 4 didn't win that race.
Not even close.
It wasn't even close.
No.
And yet we have, you know, you don't get anything from Modern Games. You have like Tisdabomb, whatever. That's the thing. Like the California, you know, racing board or whatever. Like you allow not to go down. Like they allow Corniche and all these, you know, Baffert to run, and it's a great job. And then something like this happens where an international, you know, Appleby comes over with 2. Obviously, unfortunate with Albar, it just happens. And then to scratch Modern, I mean, it's just unbelievable. And then for the horse to run, explain to people maybe watching that are like, okay, well, why did he even run in the first place? Like, if he scratched, let it just leave him scratch. Or if he's going to run, why is he not running for betting purposes as well?
Be transparent, right? Just say, hey, we opened the front of the gate, we let him through, and the vet wanted to scratch him because he thought he broke through it. He didn't. We're going to leave this up here. It's going to be 10 minutes. Cancel your bets if you want. Don't if you don't. And let the horse run. The fact that you have a horse running in a Breeders' Cup race for purse money only is freaking ridiculous. It's absurd. It's one thing when it happens at Belmont and you have, you know, a 1 and a 1A and the 1A scratches. You know what? They're protecting bettors in that spot. I get that because the one's going to run for purse money only, but you originally bet 2 horses. You're now only getting 1. Your opinion should change in that perspective. In this case, You had the one before, you have the one after. Like, you should not be running for purse money only here. Because, by the way, if the one decided to show speed, he could have completely changed the outcome of the race.
Well, absolutely.
And that's the other part of it. Like, you have a horse that's not, you can't bet on, but could totally screw over your other bets because of how they run.
By the way, thank you everybody that tuned in for this. The numbers keep going up and up. If you're watching this, like it, share it, hit subscribe on YouTube. Follow all our videos. We'll be on this again tomorrow night, of course, for live after Saturday's racing. And all our videos, and share it, get people on here because it's just getting going. We have a lot to talk about tonight.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and this is kind of cool. Dan mentioned this right now. There are international sports books that are paying out on modern games. So depending on where you bet, you may or may not pay out. Make sure you check with your book. It sucks how pari-mutuel wagering went down though, because the pick 6 was paying $3,600 to the one for $1. The pick 5 was paying close to $1,200. Yep. All of these people who had these horses, they got screwed, and there's no other way to put it.
And there isn't a single person, myself included, who played Dakota Gold on top in the guide, who said if I sat there with live, we're on the guide, we're live in our pick 4 to the one Dakota Gold.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
He's great to use as your third, fourth, whatever horse. He's a price because if he pays, it's great. But when you're forced to use him, and you know that Modern Games is running still, it's almost like you made a comment at the track afterwards. You're like, because we know what would happen. Like, we do know what happened.
Yeah, we saw it.
We watched him run. Well, he literally ran and he beat their asses, and we got nothing for it.
And the kick in the balls too is that you have the 1 and the 2 out. So not only was the price bet down on the 3, the will pays. Every ticket on the 1,
everything,
every ticket on the 2, all goes to the 3.
Yeah,
it just destroys it. It destroys it. So even if someone had the 3, let's say you singled the 3 because you felt that was a big opinion, you got screwed. Like, it's not just the people.
Right. You took a shot with the 3.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna get a pro. You're like, no, that sucks.
So 3 things I guess to address. I'm reading the comments while you guys are talking as well. And TJ says, this is why you can't talk his friends in horse racing. Absolutely. Listen, you're looking at 3 of the biggest horse racing fans on the planet, right? We loved it so much we started a business. We look forward to the Breeders' Cup for 364 days a year. The one day we don't look forward to it is when the Breeders' Cup is happening. It's unbelievable that we have to sit here and say, you're right. I don't know how the hell you get your friend into the game. How do you do it? What argument can you make to do it?
When something like this happens, how are you supposed to, if you were new, or even if you're 6 months in and you're just like your first, and by the way, we've met people today. It's like they're new to the game. This is like their first Breeders' Cup kind of event. And then something like this happens.
Yeah.
How do you get excited about that?
A line I heard a lot today, and this is great, is I got into horse racing during COVID and I got hooked on it. I really love it. Okay, so maybe those people will stay around because they've been around long enough and they see it. But if somebody that, hey, I'm going to try horse racing, I've been in it 2 weeks, I got to this event and this happened and I lost out on, like you said, if it was a pick 5, $1,000, pick 4, whatever, you're not coming back.
Well, it's like I get to do hits on like You Bet or You Bet and these other sports betting shows 3 times a year. Mm-hmm. This is one of those 3 times. The world's eyes is on horse racing during the Kentucky Derby,
right?
The Breeders' Cup, and maybe on the Belmont if you have a Triple Crown winner.
And we're just fucking
and big time. Man, this is not going well right now.
We're not doing a great job of it right now.
The only time the national media really gets interested in horse racing is the Derby. Yeah. When something happens with that, when happened with the Derby, we're getting calls to be on Sirius and here and here and here because of horse guts. I never went on a quote unquote national show other than when our boy Patrick had a show. Other than that, I've never been on a national show for anything positive about the sport.
Yeah.
And we just continue to shoot ourselves in the foot. And I don't know, I saw Ricky was saying we're not being mean enough to California horse racing. What do you want to say?
Well, we're
sitting here saying they destroyed the fucking game.
Well,
what more do you, how much harsher can we be?
Here's the thing. They followed their rules. And that's part of the problem is that at this point in time, we're unable to have the technology in place to be able to unscratch a horse. At this point in time, you have veterinarians telling track officials to scratch a horse before they know what's going on. Like this is a failure in communication. It's a failure in rules. It's a failure in policy. It's a failure in technology. All things that horse racing needs to get better at. All four of them.
Yeah, like like you said, they technically the rules.
They follow the
how
rules.
they are in place,
Right.
right? You know, one question: how loud was it booing? It was loud,
Yeah.
and it was almost one of those things that started kind of low and it just kept going and going. And people, as it was loud.
It was.
There was no cheering after that race.
This
whatsoever.
horse was bet down from a 5-1 morning line to 9-5 when he's walking the gate.
Yeah.
There was a lot of money on this horse in that grandstand, and people felt robbed.
Yep. People in front of us were like, I had the pick 5 and I had this and this, I had modern games, and now I had to play Dakota Gold or whatever. Anthony says after today, I feel like the only thing that helped would be multiple. I agree. You know what, guys?
You know,
the bull shots.
Halterman has not had one drink today.
No.
He's hurting.
I'm hurting.
that's not true.
No,
No, I have not. No.
Really?
No.
He has
Not
not
today.
one.
Maybe tomorrow. Not today.
If Halterman does a bull shot, I will do a bull shot.
Well, I'm sure you would, but I'm not doing one.
Like I said, I'm just gonna say that wasn't the best way to get.
No,
that's not good.
That was a horrible way to do
Yeah,
it.
he's not.
We have
gonna-
hamburgers on the way. You can eat yours if you do a bull shot.
I'm gonna eat mine.
I'm fairly sure it's like at the door.
Yeah, I think it's out there.
I think it's sitting out.
If you want to get your food out there, go
It's
for it.
It's not out
Yeah.
there.
No, it is. It's sitting out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like 90%
Oh.
sure it's here.
Yeah, Pedro says no beef.
Yeah.
But come on,
But
Pedro.
it's been sitting outside,
I'm
for a while now.
Yeah.
So
I want you to say something. We were walking to to our car from the track.
Yeah.
And you said something that really hit home with me, and I want you to say it again before we forget it, because we'll have to eventually get on something else. I said, listen, I know why they let them run for purse money only. Those owners came all the way up here. They still deserve a shot in the race. It wasn't their fault. And your rebuttal was great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say it as eloquently as I had because I've had a couple drinks since then. But the basic point is they chose to screw the bettor. They made the decision to say the least important person in this scenario is the race bettor. We're going to because the owner and the trainer and the jockey, they all get paid out, and I feel terrible for the ownership group of the two, for Appleby, for the jockey. I think it was Vittori that was on the 2. Awful situation. I feel terrible for the group of the 1. But the fact of the matter is the people that actually drive the sport are the bettors.
Yeah.
And I get that everyone's like, well, but these owners, they spend a ton of money and the breeds a ton of money. You know what? None of that exists if we don't bet on it.
Yeah.
And they made the conscious choice to say, let's mess with the bettors.
So yeah, you basically appease a handful of people: the owner, the trainer, the jockey, people involved with the horse, and you screw what makes your game go.
Yeah.
So yes, those have been really difficult conversations to have with those people involved with the horse. Yes, and would I feel terrible for them? Absolutely.
Yeah,
That'd be
it
awful.
sucks.
But
they brought the horse from Europe.
it's 1,000 times better than screwing over tens of thousands of fans, bettors, whatever you want to call, whatever.
Yeah.
There's everything. But you're screwing your customer. I mean, it's incredible. And again, if people quit betting, we don't have a game.
Yeah. If there's no money going into betting pools, no one runs races.
Yep.
Period. The racetrack needs to make money. If they don't make money, guess what?
Yep.
They're done.
yeah.
And if we're not betting, they don't make money. And so to continually choose and I don't want to say that every owner is rich because I think that's a little bit arrogant. There is people who get lucky, who try and who have a horse there, but to consistently choose to not side with the bettors is a problem.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, obviously, we could talk about this all night. It was insane. It was obviously the final race, and it was kind of after seeing, we had Jack Christopher scratch out of the last race or the race prior to that, and then, Bob Baffert basically did what he wanted to do there. So it's like that kind of forgot what happened there. And this is you go to this race, you're like, well, it's the juvenile turf, and you like modern games or whatever, and this is like move on. Then shit got weird.
How do you put this race last and this happens?
It's unbelievable, right?
How does that happen?
This is what you get for putting this race last. I'm just saying. All right, let's work our way backwards. So we can touch on that. We can talk about that. I'll go back to it if you want. Let's go to the race prior, which was the Juvenile, of course, the Juvenile. And like I said, we find out Jack Christopher's going to be scratching out of this race. That changed a lot of this kind of obviously he was the favorite. He was drew the rail. He was going to be legit contender to Corniche. Corniche breaks. Obviously, Bob Baffert kind of dictates what he wants to do here in terms. He's got a bunch of horses, and Corniche breaks, gets to the rail real quickly, and Corniche just goes gate to wire. I mean, there's nothing special to talk about here.
So let me get this straight. We're going from getting the betting public getting screwed out of millions of dollars straight to Bob Baffert winning the Juvenile and earning no Kentucky Derby points for it. Wow.
Horse racing is on fire right now.
You talk about those two transitions, those back-to-back races, as we talk about the back-to-back. It's sickening to think about that. This is the Breeders' Cup Friday, and we went from people got screwed out of millions of dollars, and Bob Baffert won a race, and his horse can't even run in the Derby or be called.
And by the way,
and immediately got congratulated by the Kentucky Derby. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, like, Breeders' Cup tweeted out that it was deleted that, onto the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
Kentucky Derby tweeted out, like, here you go.
It's unbelievable.
It's like, have we forgotten?
Yeah.
Like, is it not? Is it just?
We were sitting there going, what world is this? Like, what has happened?
I mean, it's insane.
It's almost a shame because I really can't wait to bet against this horse when he leaves California. Echo Zulu, a horse who I'm still not sure can get the distance, was faster today and was under wraps late.
And what was behind him? That's the thing. Like Magic and I were talking. Well, Jerry, I think you were sitting there with us too. He lengthened that stride a little. Billy rebroke. Let's be honest. They all do.
Oh wait, the Baffert rebroke?
Yeah, but at the same
I
time,
never heard of that.
No.
what was behind him?
Nothing.
Shit.
Yeah.
Total shit was behind him. So we still don't know how good he is. I mean,
Papa
obviously he won. And
Well, out of that race, I would take the 10 Command Performance over anyone. That horse showed speed when he never showed speed before because he knew the situation. He literally got hip checked by Pinehurst around the first turn. Had to sit 4 wide. And it wasn't the best effort, but you can make so many excuses for Command Performance there. I'm more interested in him than anyone else out of that race.
I'm not. No, I'm not at all. I think that horse is a donkey.
Well, listen, we've gone 6 years in a row where the winner of this race has gone on to be in the Derby. Now, only one of those won.
So, question: I don't know the answer to this. If that horse changes barns, can he earn points?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If they owners,
but he doesn't get those points.
Right.
yes,
Yeah, but yes, if he changes barns, he does earn points.
So how long if you own him? How long are you going down this?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying how long are you going on?
Well, how about 2 days ago?
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You already missed the point.
What the hell are you doing?
Well, he's not winning if he's 2 days ago. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's different.
it's just like, what are you doing? I don't get it. But
Yeah, so obviously, I haven't looked at it closely. I guess Papa Cap got the points here. I guess.
Does Papa Cap get the win points?
I don't think so.
I think he just gets second.
Do you know how bad it is? We have to talk about this after just talking about the shit we just
That's
talked about. Like,
exactly what I'm
it's
saying.
ridiculous.
I mean, this is sad.
Yeah.
This is the two things we're opening up the show with. In the same year that we had a Derby winner get disqualified for getting, I mean, it's awful.
We got to give a shout out to Gunrunner, by the way.
Papa Cap.
Gunrunner may
I
have
tried to tell
had
you last night.
may have had the best day. The Gunrunner is pretty good, guys. As a side.
Guys, Papa Cap did get win points.
Oh, really?
He got 10. Well, yes, he's actually the lead of the leaderboard right now. He's got 12 points.
No, that's not win points.
Yeah. Wasn't it 10
No,
points?
no.
Oh,
this-
I'm
this
sorry.
race
The
was worth,
juveniles were 20.
Yeah.
20. So he
did-
was second
yeah,
place points.
yeah.
So right now, Papa Cap, but he is in first in the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Man Performance is has 6 points. He's in 5th. But yeah, obviously no Bob
It's a little
Baffert.
early.
Yeah, but no Bob Baffert horses on the list. So Papa Cap did get the second place points, but he is in first, just above Rattle and Roll, Jack Christopher, and Major General at 10 points. So yeah, it is funny that Bob Baffert's loving this, right? Because it's like no one's talking about this shit anymore. Everyone's talking about the controversy in the last race.
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, what do you guys? I mean, do you think that? Like, I don't imagine this is going to go away. Like, do you think Bob Baffert will have horses in the Derby?
Yeah.
So you think it's just going to? How do you think going to get it?
He'll sue like he did at Naira, and he'll get away with it.
But then you have I made all these points that are not getting counted.
I think Magic had a comment. They're going to retroactively have to give him points. I really think that's what's going to happen. And I wouldn't think that, but we saw the blueprint, right? Naira said, "You're not coming." He was there, So
Yeah, I mean, At this point, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Who knows? And my guess would be because they lost the sample. They ran a P. Like literally, it's ridiculous.
That's the other thing, how it's been handled.
Yeah.
Well, hey, a sport that just had that shit show that just happened, and you think the drug testing in the sport's good and solid and everything's up on the up and up and they do things right? Are you kidding me? We're trusting this sport to handle that?
Imagine if Carnage pops positive next week.
That's the only hope.
Like, oh, jeez.
All right, one race prior to that, race 8, of course, the Juvenile Fillies turf. And boy, this was, we knew this was a race that was bettable. Obviously, Pizza Bianca was, John made this horse a favorite, but the horse floated way up, went to 9. I believe it was almost 10-1. I think Billy Waken went off at 10-1. Pizza Bianca there, 990.
9-1, yeah.
Pizza Bianca, who was the favorite, who floated up, made one hell of a ride one run with Jose Ortiz on board. Unbelievable run. Just came flying late and won this thing over Malbath for riding more. Yeah. And then Hottie, who got rounded out that try. We were all over this, Halterman, in terms of the guide. We had the second place horse, at a big price. We had the third place horse, and we just weren't on Pizza Bianca here, who made a huge run up the kind of inside horses up the rail. Really, it was unbelievable. It was a lot of luck. Unbelievable skilled ride to wait that long to go. Thoughts on Pizza Bianca?
Oh, this was a masterful ride, number one. But a horse also has to be willing to split horses and make a move and have the talent to be able to run down horses from last to first in the stretch of this turf race here at Del Mar. And that's not easy to do. So she deserves a ton of credit. I thought she was fantastic. As far as everybody else in the race, it all changed when Bubble Rock kind of hopped to the gate and didn't get out there to set the pace. That allowed the 3, Cash It, to be out there kind of on the lead. I thought she was going to take it. And then I thought Malafoth ran excellent. And I thought Hottie was close to being the best horse in this race. She lost all the ground while the other ones came up the rails. So I thought the top 3 really ran fantastic races here.
This is an amazing race. One of the best videos that I've seen come from the entire day. If you check out Twitter, I retweeted this. Yeah. They had Jose Ortiz's cam on his helmet. Yeah. And you got to see him actually ride the race. The timing, the patience that he showed to not send until they actually got to the top of the stretch. And then, like Jared said, the luck to then have that hole pop open and the horse be able to go through it and time it well.
It's like he knew, okay, listen, I'm going to get one shot at this. And it's got to, basically it needs to open up.
Yeah. It was incredible. It was a wonderful ride, well-timed, lucky, but the horse responded and flew home. That was the most impressive move. The horse was in last at the top of the stretch. The horse was in last.
Yeah.
Go back and watch the replay and follow the one.
You go from being like, well, that was a shitty favorite. And then you're like, whoa.
Yeah, you think you're not even going to hear from her, right? Yeah. And it's just like, oh.
And you mentioned Malbath. That was a huge run, too, going up the rail. And I agree with you. Howdy ran really well. Howdy was hung 5 wide. And you have this other horse that saved all the ground, and the other horse that came up the rail, and Howdy was a neck behind.
And you think coming off of a 3-week window here, coming off of a maiden, that horse has got room to improve.
Can we call that the crafty ride of the week?
Sure.
Can we just bring it on back right now?
I thought it was dead.
Let's bring it back.
Let's bring it on back, baby.
After today, call it whatever you want.
Brought to you by Woodinville Whiskey. When you're too drunk and you order Woodinville instead of Woodford.
Anthony says I was a contestant on Beat Bobby Flay.
Yeah.
He beat me then and today.
And
I hate Bobby Flay.
He was also in the BCBC.
That's the comment of the year.
That's amazing, by the way.
He was in BCBC, and he shoved on his own horse.
That's amazing.
He won $600,000, and he bred this horse, too. Really cool for the sport.
Yeah.
God, this would be a great positive. You have Bobby Flay, who is a breeder, bred this own horse, brings him to the Breeders' Cup, wins $600,000 with him, not like he needs the money, and also shoves in BCBC. This would be a great thing if we didn't have the races that happened.
If Aaron isn't drinking, where did my $40 go? I'm not paying for Jared's Tinder rubbers. Oh, shit. I know, right? I'm trying, man. I don't know. You even gave money, and he still isn't drinking. So he obviously just doesn't care.
I'll mispronounce horses for you later. Don't worry.
I really hope that that's a true story, that guy was actually a contestant on Bobby Flay. That's hilarious. That's great.
Anyways, all right, let's go to the race prior, which, of course, Echo Zulu dominated the Juvenile Fillies. The question going into the race was, can she get the 2 turns? What's Juju's map going to do? Hidden Connection obviously was proven over 2 turns. Maybe that's the horse to play. Echo Zulu was awesome. Like, she looked really good. She went to lead. Like, you get that lead, you get those fractions, no one's going to catch you. So 2 turns, is she like a legit 2-turn horse for you now? Or was it more like, well, it was like a small field, no one pressured her. Of course she's like, if she's good enough, she's going to get it done.
Juju's missed the break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hidden Connection.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Clearly didn't fire.
So for me, when I originally watched the race, I was like, yeah, I don't buy this. Okay. Because you didn't have Juju go. So you got this easy lead. She was able to kind of walk up front, be really comfortable. Then you watched the Carniche race. And that made me believe in Echo Zulu more. Because Echo Zulu was faster than Carniche. And so now you kind of sit back and you say, wait a second. If the filly ran faster, I kind of have to respect this performance a little more than I did prior to it. And she was a shot out of the gate, cleared very quickly, even with Juju missing the break. Yeah. Hidden Connection didn't break well either. So she got every benefit. But when the time came back, you got to be impressed with the performance. And this is as someone who was against her going into this. Yeah. But the time compared to the boys is what did it for me.
Yeah, she's a beast. I really believe that, and I get the 2-turn concerns going in. It's always hard to bet a 4 to 5 horse doing something they've never done before, right? So I get your thought process on it, but this horse is just kind of a monster. But to that point, we're looking around at the quarter pole, or I guess the half mile probably. And the second fraction came up, and we're like, "This is over." Like
7 jumps in.
So we don't. Well, okay, that's fair too. But we don't really know, right? We don't know what she is as far as is she a 2-turn beast? I don't know, but this was so easy. Yeah, this was no contest.
Yeah, it was. But she certainly is. She's very, very good. Like, whether it be she's a 2-turn monster, or obviously she proved today that she can be very, very good. She pulled away down the stretch and was fantastic. And I used Juju. Yeah. It's one of those things that, if you like whoever you were betting, you watched that performance, you thought, wow, that was good.
She got everything her own way, but she did nothing wrong. Like, you can't blame her for Juju not breaking, for Hidden Connection not breaking. And that, I wish that Hidden Connection and Juju both broke so we could have seen how this actually played out. But you can't say that it's Echo Zulu's fault they didn't break. She ran a really good race and would have been the most impressive performance today if it weren't for Pizza Bianca, who I thought was the most impressive.
Speaking of an impressive performance, maybe a horse that we thought would be the most impressive, at least you did, Somich. I know you pounded Averly Jane in the first race, I should say, of the Breeders' Cup today. The Juvenile Turf Sprint, of course, a race that's been dominated by Wesley Ward. It's been dominated by horses that go to the gate or go to the wire first, or get in the lead first, and then they go, and then you never see them again. All you see is their asses the whole way around.
I think you're saying that speed does well in this race.
Yes.
Okay.
Once again, yeah.
And we were right.
Yeah.
We just were
we
not
were wrong
right about the horse that would do it. It was not Averly Jane. It was her stablemate, Twilight Gleaming. Let's be honest. Like, it wasn't shot. Like, we knew it was one of those 2 horses that would get the lead. It's Wesley Ward. They're very quick fillies. Not shocking.
No.
But you looked at it, you're like, well, I think Averly Jane is going to be the faster of the 2, and that's kind of the reason why you play that horse. And then the gate breaks, and you're like, uh-oh.
But yeah,
it's not Averly Jane.
As someone who bet $3,000 to win on Averly Jane.
Yeah, let's get yeah.
There was definitely no shit moment when Irad Ortiz is like this, and Tyler Gaffione is like this, and Irad Ortiz is 2 lengths in front. You're like, oh, this is not good. And they go 21 and change. So anyone who's not on the lead, if you're 2, 3, or 4, you're screwed. And you saw a bunch of horses try and fly late. The fact that we were running this at 5 furlongs instead of 5.5 made a huge difference this year. I think if this was Keeneland last year,
I think
Twilight Gleaming does not get home.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was interesting to see that as well. But look, wrong word.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Everything else is right. That if you look back at the fractions, if you look at the time for numbers, if you look at all the different pace projectors, The 8 was supposed to get there, and Averly Jane was not as fast as Twilight Gleaming today.
I don't know if she just didn't kind of break well, and so the other one got up on top, and they were just like, well, back off, a little bit. But I know we were watching this together, and it's like even though we were like, come on, Averly, you can do it. It's like, it's like, oh boy, they flip-flop positions, and so that's just what happened. But yeah, I'm shocked that the horse didn't get to the lead. I really am.
Well, me too. I mean, you look at 21-44 consistently, and you see 22-45 from Twilight Gleaming.
Yeah.
You expect that Averly Jane makes the lead, and you thought that One Timer was the one that was going to press, and One Timer does press Twilight Gleaming.
Yeah.
But Averly Jane is sitting there back and forth, and and I know as someone
position.
You love the one.
Yeah.
And we're watching the race, and a quarter mile in, you're like, this is screwed.
Yeah.
That's like the one's way too close to this. Yeah.
Sitting in third at 21-3, like, it's trouble.
Hey, I like 7 and then never ran a step. So, I mean, this is tough.
I think Dairy Name is going to be a good horse.
You think so?
Yeah, I think I'd like if you watch that horse's replay back, the horse was in second to last or last, kind of had a rough break, rushes up, was in that mess of a photo for third place. I think Dairy Name's the one I'm interested in out of this.
Yeah. I mean, it is funny that it was like the race ended and you're like, well, the trend was right. But we were totally wrong. It is one of those things. You were all over the race, like you say. Like you made a big wager for all the right reasons.
Just wrong horse.
Just the wrong horse.
Well, and it's part of horse racing. Like you're going to be wrong sometimes, and you want to be right more than you're wrong, obviously, from a financial perspective. And look, I was too deep in that race. I was 6'8". I just happened to bet the wrong horse to win.
Right. All right.
Sometimes you're right and you still lose in horse racing. We found that out today.
Yeah, well, you were. I mean, everyone. There's a lot of people that were right today on Modern Games, and guess what?
Aaron hit the late pick 4.
Yes, congrats.
And lost. Every one of his horses crossed the wire first.
Late pick 4 and late pick 5.
I think that's the worst, right?
The fact that you had to watch it.
That you would have that whatever you had, and you were live. You were alive to Modern Games. You're like, yes, Modern Games needs to get home and catch this.
Yeah.
And then you find out that you have to get Dakota Gold home.
Yeah. And you have to watch Modern Games.
And you have to watch Modern Games beat that horse's ass. And it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing if you're like, we all do it, right? We're like, well, I think the one would have won that if they would have scratched it. But now you actually saw it happen, and you're like, yeah, he did.
It really is the most depressed I think I've ever been watching a race. Because seriously, it's just like I did so much homework on that horse. Oh,
I've never been at a racetrack where they booed.
Never. No.
Like, I've been at basketball games. I've been at hockey games. Never been at a racetrack.
Yeah.
Where they're like universal booing. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Keep it moving here.
All right. So that's a recap of anything. Any final thoughts on Friday that you guys anything on the card? Anything that Triple Tap won? I guess that was impressive earlier on the card. Yay, Bob Baffert won a few races today.
Turf sprinting, you want speed. I think you want to come from off the pace. 2-turn turf races. You don't want to be on the lead. So tomorrow I'm going to be playing closers on the turf, going 2 turns. Turf sprinting, you want the lead. I thought the dirt was actually pretty fair.
Seemed it.
I thought you just had favorites win races on the lead, and so I think people may decide that the bias is towards speed, but I think that was more of just the better horses were on the lead than anything else.
I think speed bias sometimes really gets overplayed because we talked about this. Like I think it was not yesterday, but a couple of days ago. Chalk usually has speed.
Whether the favorite.
Exactly, and so you go, oh, they're winning gate to wire. Well, most horses, that's what they want to try to do. So I think that kind of just becomes a natural thing that people try to say. But like I said, when you mentioned Triple Tap, that horse came from way out of it. So I think you can do either or on the dirt for sure.
All right, so obviously big day of racing tomorrow, Saturday. We're not going to go through every single race. If you're listening to this show, chances are you've been to the website, you've either watched a preview, maybe you bought the guide. Any of those work. We have all the information you need at racingnews.com. But let's go through the last 3, right? The late pick 3, the distaff, the turf, and of course the classic round things out. So let's kind of give our thoughts and picks real quick on these last 3 races. We'll kick things off with the distaff, 8-5 on Latruska. I think I know how we feel. What?
It's just like I don't even want to like. I'm so disheartened. It's like, oh my gosh, we got a handicap now. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not even in the mood really. It's like we beat Latruska, but they let her win anyway. You know what I mean? It's just like, where did she finish the second? But the worst that we would beat her with is a non-starter or whatever.
But let's be honest though, I'm gonna bet tomorrow. I know a lot of people are gonna bet tomorrow, so let's.
Hey, Dr. Tang, good. It was great to meet you today. Finally,
It was, yes. Very good to meet you.
I mean, we are diehards, and we just keep going. We will all pass out very hard later.
Yeah.
But until then, we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to bed early tonight, Dr. Tang. And you know what, Dr. Tang? I'll have a beer with you tomorrow. I just couldn't today.
Someone says, for the love of Christ, somebody pour Halterman a drink.
Yeah,
I wish. We tried all day.
Full shots.
No, not today.
The thing is, I think he's just getting old, guys.
Yeah.
Because he just didn't even have much to drink last night still.
Yeah.
You should have seen his face when Magic turned the car this morning.
Oh, I thought I was going to throw up. Magic is a herky-jerky driver, so I would describe it. So I might throw up if I was sober.
Yeah, he's an awful driver.
Ricky brings up a good point. Look, we're all going to be back here. We want to keep betting. We love the sport, but we also enjoy betting on it.
Yeah.
So let's bring it into
But the problem is that we're all going to die one day, and there's not going to be any more left because nobody's new is coming to the sport. So sure, everybody on this chat and everybody at this table, we're going to be there tomorrow, but growing the game is going to get trickier and trickier.
I agree with that, but what can we do?
So on to this race,
Super happy.
I picked She Dares the Devil.
It's a positive guy.
Yeah, very positive.
How can it not be, though? That's the thing. I think this is what people need to hear, honestly. Because I think everybody feels the same way we do about this. For the first time, well, not first time ever, but usually a horse show, everybody's got different opinions. I think the whole community is feeling like we're feeling.
There's a lot of people who are pissed off,
And they should be.
rightfully so.
Yeah. So I get that I'm being negative, but it's hard to be positive tonight. But if we're going to talk about this race, I think She Dares the Devil is going to run a big one here. I really do. I've got confidence that Cox will have this horse ready to roll tomorrow. I think they pointed to this race all year. I think she's going to run really well. And I think Latruska will get softened up enough that somebody's going to beat her tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, you and I are on the same horse here. We both like She Dares the Devil. I definitely think Latruska Private Mission is going to soften up Latruska enough, I think, to where this makes this race somewhat interesting down the stretch, which, She Dares the Devil, who's been a very true horse, especially this year, is going to keep coming. It's going to keep coming. Whoever that is, maybe it's Malthide, maybe it's She Dares the Devil, maybe it's Royal Flag. I feel like there's going to be enough. She's going to be softened up just enough to where someone's going to be able to, you got to remember too, like Latruska's had a hell of a campaign.
Yep.
It's just a lot. And then she gets into this race with, her toughest, challenge yet. And she's answered every call, no matter win, lose, whatever. She's going to win. I think she'll win the, the older female horse.
Oh, for sure.
That's locked up.
Yeah.
But I just think there's enough going against her here that you can play against her.
Her campaign's incredible. Since December 2020, she's won a graded stakes at 7 tracks.
Yeah.
She's won at Gulfstream, Sam Houston, Oaklawn, Belmont, Churchill, Saratoga, and Keeneland.
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing. She's up against it here. You know who's the fastest early time form figure? It's actually Horologist, who's in the 7 post outside of her. Private Mission sending from the 1 hole.
Mm-hmm.
Latruska is going to be stuck in a 3-way pace battle tomorrow. 2-way, fine. Maybe someone doesn't break. Maybe someone clears. 3-way is a problem. And Latruska, the last 2 races, to me personally, looks a little worn down. It looks like she's starting to not be what she was earlier in the year. And you've got some really good horses in here. I respect She Dares the Devil. I think She Dares the Devil is probably going to be a little too close to it. I have fallen in love with Malthat this week. This horse, when given a target, runs big.
Yeah.
And she's going to get a target in this early pace figure. You're getting 4-1 on her right now in the morning line. I think she's got a huge chance. I also said this is Chad Brown's best chance to win a race this weekend. I think with Royal Flag and Dunbar Road, both of them are going to get the pace to run into. I think this is a great place to take a shot. A bull shot.
You should take a bull shot. Nick says, if She Dares the Devil wins, won't she be Female Horse of the Year? She beat Latruska twice. Now, that is an interesting, and you and Brad Cox would agree with that because he mentioned the same thing earlier this week. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. Latruska's been so good all year. That's a tough one.
I say no. Because the campaign that Somich laid out is
It's amazing.
It's really, really, really good. And She Dares the Devil's been good, but they've kind of picked and chosen those spots. They haven't really danced all the big dances, So I get the argument, though. I do think it will become a debate. Another thing would be like, what if Latruska is like 8th, and then She Dares the Devil wins? That could swing it as well. We'll see. I'm still going to say Latruska.
I mean, what if Malathat wins?
No, she's
Ashland, Oaks, Alabama, Distaff.
she's 3-year-old of the year.
Yeah, not the older though.
She's not older, so
You can't give her older too?
Yeah, no.
Come on,
She'll
upgrade
win 3.
her.
Yeah, she'll win 3.
Upgrade
I
her.
think she's got that locked down.
This is
too.
bullshit.
I think if she runs last, she's still 3-year-old of the year.
Yeah.
I just want to give her the older too. I believe. Give it all to Malathat.
Some people thought if Latruska won this race, she would be horse of the year, which to me is insane.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible.
I think if you want to win horse of the year, you need a runner in the classic.
Well, who's the horse of the year right now? Before tomorrow.
Before tomorrow,
Yeah.
it's probably Nixco.
So let's say Nixco runs 8th and Latruska wins.
Who wins though?
It depends on who wins the classic.
Yeah.
If it's essential quality, he'll be horse of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with
Max player.
Max Player.
Latruska's got a shot if that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she's gonna get it, but I think she's got a shot.
There's certainly an angle there that you could make.
I mean, Nixco's going to air. We'll get there. To that
Yeah.
second. But anyway.
All right, let's go to the turf next up. Of course, we had news yesterday with number 3 domestic spinning being scratched. Not a good 2 days for Chad Brown with these scratches, but
Better
domestic
than Charlie
spinning.
Appleby. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, not a good day for Charlie Appleby so far.
He got his money.
We got
We
his,
didn't get
yeah.
our money.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He don't give a shit. Like, oh, man, brought my horses over, 1-1 there. But no, Tarnawa looks to repeat here. Your 95 morning line favorite, of course. Like I said, no domestic, so you don't have that threat. She's obviously the logical winner here. Halterman, you are a Tarnawa fan, as I am as well.
Yep.
What do you think?
I think we could be kind of overanalyzing it. I think at the end of the day, she's just a little bit better than these horses. And that's not a knock on the field. I think it's a really good field. I really thought the only horse that might be able to beat her was scratched, and that was domestic spending. And listen, you've got good ones in here. You've got world-class trainers, coming in from overseas. We've got some strong horses over here locally as well. End of the day, though, I just think she's just a little bit too talented for this group. I went Tarnawa.
Somich?
I ended up putting Tanawa on top, and it's a very lukewarm on top for me because of the price in the post.
Yeah.
The 9 to 5 and the 13 post are the biggest problems for me. If I was going to say what horse do I think is the best value in this race, what horse am I actually going to most likely bet? It's the 8 Broom, who's sitting at 20 to 1. Broom's best efforts are over a firm turf in Europe. You're going to get the firmest turf he's ever had here. I like the price. I'm a little concerned because Broom generally is more forwardly placed. And with Channel Maker now drawing in due to the scratches, you're going to have a little bit more speed early. You have Acclimate, who's definitely going to show some pace early. But then I look at like Modern Games today, who, by the way, ran, guys. I don't know if you knew that. But Modern Games had showed pace in Europe, and today sat off the sat off the
Well, they
lead.
didn't care. They're just like, we're not running.
Yeah, we're just, but
They got
that
nothing to lose.
This is a very good time to just try something new.
but that specific trip is what I think that you could end up seeing carved out for Broom. Gets Frankie Dettori back, best time form numbers, all with Frankie Dettori, all on firm turf. 20 to 1, I think, is a really good price. I respect the hell out of Tanawa. But the 9 to 5 in the 13 post is where I have an issue with it. So for me, I'm just going to try and take a little bit more of a swing.
Well, real quick before we move on, 20 to 1 on Broom. What do you think you actually get tomorrow?
13.
That's why I was going to say 12.
Yeah. I think you're going to get double digits.
I think you will. Yeah.
And I think in the multi-race wagers, you're going to get more like 20 to 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he, I guess, is certainly a value in terms of that goes. And Tarnawa, because 9, what do you think you're going to get in Tarnawa?
Well,
With no domestic.
6 or 7 to 5, I'd say.
I disagree. I think you can get 5 to 2.
How?
Because we got 10 to 1 on Dubai Legend before you had the scratches because of the 14 post. You saw people
Kind of ran like a 10 to 1 shot, though.
Yeah, yes, but you saw people completely avoiding the horse due to the post.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if you see 5 to 2 and now because there are Like Tiona is getting, and I'm personally against. I don't know about you guys. Tiona is getting a ton of buzz. I think there's no way that horse goes off at 6-1. I think Gufo takes money. I think Ivier takes money. Sisafan, I think, should take money. There's enough horses in here that I think you're going to see some money come in, and I think it's going to push the price up. I never thought, even on the 8 horse that I love today, I can't remember the name because I'm just on one right now, but that horse went off at 9-5. Averly Jane should not have been 9-5 in that race. If you think she's making the lead, she should have been 4-5. And so I feel like you're going to get in these bigger fields with these monster pools, you're going to get a natural little bump up on those prices, and I think you're going to see that tomorrow on Tanawa.
We'll see. I think obviously Tarnawa makes a lot of sense here. Halter and I are definitely playing her in the wagering guide, but I think it makes sense to try to, whether it be underneath, or if you're playing multis, to try to beat her, use her, but try to beat her and make some money with some of these other ones. All right, the main event, of course, the classic. Field of 9 in here, Medina Spirit. Your main contenders, Medina Spirit. I guess you can throw our collector in there. Knicks Go, Essential Quality, Hot Rod, Charlie. Those are kind of your main shots here. It really starts and ends with Knicks Go, the 5 horse. He'll go to the lead. It's kind of a matter of what kind of contested lead he might get and how far he can go. But I think we all at this table, I believe, agree that it really starts and ends with him.
Yeah, I mean, look, Knicks Go hasn't lost going 2 turns with Brad Cox Farm. Knicks Go is probably the fastest horse in the world right now around the turn. And I think that really makes a difference because Knicks Go is able to open up in the first and second turn, make it really hard for the competition. What this race comes down to is, do you think that Medina Spirit can press Knicks Go naturally without really having to shove, right? And if the answer is no, then Knicks Go is going to be really hard to beat here.
I don't think you can.
If Medina Spirit is able to naturally run with Knicks Go, then it's going to make it hard for Knicks Go.
Yeah.
Personally, I believe Knicks Go is just naturally faster than Medina Spirit, and I also believe that it's in Medina Spirit's best interest not to press Knicks Go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Knicks Go is able to run comfortably and Medina Spirit runs comfortably right behind, Medina Spirit's going to be tough in the stretch not to get second.
Yeah.
And if Medina Spirit decides, I'm going to shove, if Velasquez and Baffert say, go, 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 Medina Spirit's more likely to run last than second.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so to me, that means that Knicks Go gets loose. If Knicks Go gets loose, good luck running this horse down because 110 is cruising. This horse is comfortable going 110. And then you have Essential Quality 10 to 15 lengths back at 112. That's a really tough thing to close in. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Knicks Go's never gone a mile and a quarter, but Knicks Go's look pretty comfortable going a mile and an eighth.
I think the big thing with Knicks Go, and we're saying the track is playing fair, but it was nice to kind of see a couple Gates Wire winners with trips that looked similar to what we think Knicks Go is going to do. Be like, yeah, that's going to be that just a little bit further for him. So I think I'm not going to call him a lock, but I think he's close. I really do. The more you look at it, it's just, I just can't see a way he loses. And it goes back, and Jared, you said it 2 or 3 weeks ago on the show. Medina Spirit, when he faces a good speed horse, has never pressed that horse. So why is he going to do it tomorrow?
Knicks Go is an elite cruising speed horse.
Correct.
And Medina Spirit is good.
Yeah.
But Medina Spirit was slower than Life is Good. Medina Spirit deferred to Rock Your World.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Knicks Go is better than both of them, right? Can we say that?
Yeah, slightly.
Yep.
Yes.
And I think if a couple people in chat saying if Medina Spirit wins, wow, that's going to be bad for horse racing tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of people like, I'm done with this for a while.
Well, one of the things we also have to note is it's really interesting to look at the double payouts.
Yeah.
Essential Quality is going to be the favorite.
As of right now,
if you believe in the doubles, that's going to hold, yes. Yeah.
So one of the questions here, will they boo? No, I don't think they'll boo at all.
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
Out here at Del Mar, they just don't.
What if he runs for first?
They will boo then, yeah.
Then they'll be booing because then the bettor's money is in that hand. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
We don't give a shit if it's not. Whatever.
We're fine with Baffert. Yeah,
I picked him, so it's fine. I played him.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they'll do it all unless you guys for first money only. And then we got other shit to talk about. That'll be a fun podcast tomorrow if he wins. No, that's my whole thing all along. It's just Medina, especially drawn outside Knicks Go. if he tries to go with him, he's just gonna get buried. And what?
Don't worry about it. You're right. Medina Spirit will get screwed. He won't. He'll finish last if he tries to go with Nick's go, because he won't make the lead and he'll be hung too wide going 110. And it's going nothing but bad stuff, which is the whole reason why I think you don't send if you're Baffert in last place.
Yep.
So make the case. Make the case. I'm gonna ask Somich this. Make the case for how Hot Rod Charlie wins. Okay. First off, dick move. Secondly, so the case would be Blame Nick. He brought the question up.
Honestly, Hot Rod Charlie will get the best trip of any horse in here. If Medina Spirit and Nick's Go hook up, and they both stop, and Essential Quality runs for purse money only, then Hot Rod Charlie has a really good chance of winning this race. The problem with Hot Rod Charlie is, look, he's lost to Medina Spirit. He's lost to Essential Quality. He's not as good as Nick's Go. So he needs a situation where all three of those horses somehow get compromised. And Nick's Go and Medina Spirit can compromise each other. But then you have Essential Quality, who's the best of the closers. So even if he gets first jump on Essential Quality, he then has to hold off Essential Quality, which, oh, by the way, he's not good enough to do at a mile and a quarter. And so it's just a situation where Nick's, and I've been saying this all week, Hot Rod Charlie, to me, is 80% to finish in the money. Between 2 and 5% to win the race.
Yeah.
Because everything has to go perfect to win the race. But he is a Johnny Tryhard, awesome story, great horse who is good enough to run to be a bridesmaid, but it's really hard to be the bride.
Yeah. Okay, I can make a case for him because I do think we've seen him progress. I think we've seen him go head to head with Essential Quality down the lane where it was just those two horses. And he battled him, and it was close. It was a mile and a half, and what if it was a mile and a quarter? Maybe he held on, maybe he didn't. Who knows? His case is what you said. Hot Rod Charlie will get the perfect trip in this race.
He should.
If Nick's Go gets pushed.
Yeah.
And so if that happens, he's going to take over at the top of the stretch. He's going to be your leader at the top of the stretch if Nick's Go gets pushed and starts to fade. And it'll just be, it's him versus Essential Quality. And can he outkick him this time? Yeah. So there is a case. There's a path for him. But he needs a lot of help.
He can't make his own race.
No.
And that's the problem. And so, like, when you think about this and you think about, like, hey, this is a good, in my mind, cold trifecta race.
Yeah.
If it play the Cox horse you like the most on top, play the other Cox horse in second, and play Hot Rod Charlie in third.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd even go further and say if you don't, because I think Nick's Go is an all or nothing.
Yeah, I do too.
See, Patricia.
He either
great thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's because you can depend on all this. Now if you want to play EQ on top, don't even use Nick's Go. Because I just feel like if he throws it in, two other horses are going to pass him.
If you want to go for value, what you do is you toss Medina, you toss Nick's Go, and you put like EQ over Hot Rod Charlie over Max Player and a couple other horses that could close.
Yeah.
And try and blow up a try that way. That would be the other way to do it. You could even just play EQ over Hot Rod Charlie as an exacta.
Yeah.
And because then you're assuming that you're going to have these two speed horses cook each other. This is what is left. And that could be a good play, a good straight exacta that would probably pay $20, $25.
So there's a couple of questions, and I saw one I wanted to get you guys' take on this. With Nick's Go, the distance. We've heard that a lot. And I think Nick, you may have said that you're kind of worried about the distance, or you're making a case for or Charlie, maybe Nick's Go doesn't get the distance. I think there's a 1% chance he doesn't get the distance tomorrow. I think he can run all day. It's just the pressure is going to be the key. Like, you watch those mile and 8 races, he can go a mile and a quarter. He's not struggling.
He's geared down at a mile and 8.
I mean,
like the last quarter shouldn't be an issue.
And I get it. I absolutely get that people are like, well, maybe, but it's just when you watch those races, it just doesn't seem like he's going to struggle with it. But how he will struggle with it. If he goes 22 and 44 and gets pressed, then he will.
You remember when we didn't think he'd get a mile and 8?
Yeah.
Right.
Because that happened multiple times. And how'd that go? And
I remember going in the Pegasus. Yeah, that was
exactly.
The thing. Well, I don't know.
You can't get a mile and 8. Yeah.
My God, he dominated.
He got it by 2+ lengths.
Yeah.
Like in hand.
Yeah. And
he hasn't lost a race going 2 turns with better Cox, like you said. So it's just, it's hard to think otherwise, really.
Yeah.
And the only race that he's lost over a mile during that time was the Saudi Cup, where Charlatan took it to him.
Mm-hmm.
I had more question marks coming into the Pegasus about him getting that distance than I do now. Now it's like, gonna get it. I would just be shocked if he runs and he's 2-3 lengths ahead on the backside and they turn for home and he just stops. I would be shocked if that happens.
Yeah, this obviously he's going to be having to hold off the best horses he's had to face ever in terms of going this kind of race. He's going to have to he's going to have to hold off EQ. He's going to have to hold off Hot Rod. He's going to have to hold off Medina, Max Player, whatever, go Art Collector, whoever the horses you like. Like it might something like top to bottom. Well, at least the top 5. It's a very solid deep field.
You bring up a great point. The best horses he's beat this year are your favorite horse, Maxfield, and Independence Hall.
Yeah.
Guess what? They're not good.
No.
Like they're just not good. They aren't. And so this is going to be a class test in that sense, where he's going to have to beat horses that he is like this caliber has not been what he's faced.
The problem is, I agree, but the problem is he hasn't really even been close to
He didn't really try.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. It's like he was all out and they rode him hard and they were whipping the shit out of him in the Whitney. It's like, okay, that's a red flag. That's I guess going back to what I kind of mean. There's no red flags about this horse distance wise. And go ahead.
I've said it once, and I've said it a million times. Like you'll know.
Yep.
We'll know if he's going to win the race. You'll know if you can go cash your BCBC ticket when they hit the backstretch.
Give me 5-2. I will shove.
You'll know because if he's just cruising and no one's pressuring him, then just start walking walk to the window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If he's not in the lead, well, God forbid, and if he's getting pressured by Medina or whatever, you'll know.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about that horse is like he kind of tells you.
Yeah. Well, this is an interesting comment from Nick here. Let's just say for some reason Nick's doesn't break and Hot Rod gets position on Medina Spirit. Can he wire them? Hot Rod wasn't able to outbreak Medina Spirit in the Derby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Hot Rod's fast enough to compete with Nick's Go and Medina Spirit without all-out riding.
I mean, under this scenario, he could win, but I don't think it'd be Gage Dwyer. I agree.
Yeah.
I think his best idea or best chance would be to sit right off Medina, and you could probably beat Medina Spirit, at the top of the stretch and get by him, and then hope Essential Quality doesn't come running. I mean, that's his thing. But I think to that point, Nick, I do think something like he doesn't, if we're going to look at it from a sports term, he doesn't control his own destiny, right? If it's like an NFL team and they're 7-7 and they need to win 2 games and this other team lose a game to get in.
Yeah.
That's essentially Hot Rod Charlie. He needs help, but if he gets it, he certainly is good enough to take advantage of it.
All right. Yep. That's a nice solid preview for tomorrow. Obviously, the racing. Surely. Oh, here's a question. What will the odds be of Gamine tomorrow? What are you expecting of Gamine? Which is obviously going to kick things off on the Breeders' Cup racing tomorrow in the Filly Mare Sprint.
Before you answer, so we go to Baffert winning to this controversy, and the next Breeders' Cup race is Gamine.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I love this sport. Go ahead.
And she'll win.
Gamine will be.
Medina will win at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If Medina wins, just burn it down.
It's going to be a shit show on the show tomorrow.
Gamine will be 2-5, maybe 1-5, and honestly deserves to be at this point. The problem with that race is it's just Bella Sophia. Who else is beating her? No one. And in a 5-horse field, Bella Sophia is going to be 2-1, and Gamine's going to be 2-5. CC should be 10-1, and that'll be it. And maybe you just play cold try there.
Yeah, good.
I like Art Collector, Pedlo. I do. Underneath though, not on top.
No way, right?
Yeah, I don't think Art Collector can win, but I think Art Collector could take a slice.
He's in a tough situation because he's if he wants to do his thing, he's gonna have to go with.
He's kind of Hot Rod Charlie.
Yeah,
he's Hot Rod Charlie light.
He's Medina. So there's a lot of that's the thing. There's a lot of horses in this race that are kind of similar in terms of the way they win a race is by going out to the lead or being very quick. And you've got a horse like Nick's Go in there that's kind of going to say, "Well, hang on, you're going to have to go behind me here." So who's going to want to finish the best? We'll find out. Again, we'll be at the track again tomorrow. Somich will be betting all day, of course, for the BCBC. If you have it, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go get the wagering guide at racingdudes.com. 30-page wagering guide, of course, includes all the racing tomorrow.
Jared's frozen.
we're back.
We all were.
That's
All
scary.
mine, we
Yeah.
were all
Oh,
gone.
no, I was still moving.
Oh, okay. We're all on the same internet, so I don't understand. But all the information on the racing tomorrow, go get that, racingdudes.com. Go to the products page to get more information on that. Final thoughts, guys, before you leave these people and we get something to eat?
I'm glad that Magic is almost home. I was a little worried about that. So that's good.
Yep, just time to go to bed and get back up and come back tomorrow.
Yep.
Final thoughts?
Today was a shit show. I'm excited for tomorrow anyway, and that's why I'm a horse racing fan.
Yeah.
just I am a sick
We're
person.
gonna drive today home.
No,
you know?
seriously, that's it though. I wish we could do better. We should be able to do better. We're a train wreck. Hopefully, at some point, we get better. But I'm also excited about tomorrow, and I'm not going to feel bad about that.
You have to definitely be a little sick, but I'm the same way.
Like
I'm ready to go. When I wake up, I'll be ready.
We start talking about these races, and I can't wait to shove
Yeah.
10 grand on Nick's
Well,
go.
the thing is, it's just like, there's opportunities, and Oh, I told you guys when we were driving in, I said, well, here we got this beautiful beach over here, and we're going to this damn track, watch these horses walk around in a circle. I mean, we got problems, but we're all here, we're all together. So,
Well, that's the other part of this, okay?
Yeah.
Like, we got to meet and hang out with 40 people today.
So many people
would never be in my life. You guys wouldn't be in my life.
Yeah.
Like, without this sport.
Yep.
And so, there's some shit that sucks.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's dispendable income. It's
Yeah.
something I enjoy. It's something I love. And it's something I'm going to keep doing because of the people that are involved as much as everything else.
We met so many nice people today. And like I said, people we never would have met sitting at this table. I mean, Jared and I wouldn't knew each other, but no Magic, no you, no Ryan Stillman or Slim or, go on Paul, Ricky, all of them. You go on to everybody. So, I mean, that's the thing about it. Everything really good as far as, what we talked about is like, my friends are all over the country now because of racing.
Yeah.
Not any other reason.
Yeah.
We're sitting in San Diego because of racing. We, all these places we've been. So, that's why we continue to try to battle week after week for the sport.
We'll be back.
Yep.
We'll keep coming back.
That's
All
right.
right. Yeah, we'll be back. We will be back tomorrow after, of course, same time-ish after tomorrow's racing to digest it all with you guys. Hopefully.
Celebratory bull shots.
Hopefully, yeah.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Hopefully, Oscar will be back.
I'll be back.
He'll use that $40 that was contributed today, right?
Yeah, man, dude.
You better. That's all I got to say.
Yep, I'll be back to Thursday for him tomorrow.
Jeez.
Listen, if Medina wins, I may quit the podcast for the day.
Will you quit the
You quit
podcast
for
live?
life,
But
yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah.
He
You guys,
quit, I don't know if it was on air or not last
No,
night.
it
but
wasn't,
He
yeah.
quit the
you
podcast
re-signed
last
me at
night.
the last minute.
Yeah, we got him back, guys.
You
So.
put a table on top of him, and that just
Yeah.
that got him interesting.
Yeah, that was good times. Good
Yeah,
times. All right.
reaction pod tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, reaction pod tomorrow, of course. We'll see how it goes. Obviously,
Hopefully all you guys
classic.
are here.
I think they'll be here, especially if Medina Spirit wins the
Hopefully
race.
it's a little more upbeat than today. Like, hopefully we don't start with 20 minutes of WTF.
What
Like,
odds would you give me that Nick's Go wins as a non-starter?
20 to 1.
20 to 1.
Wow.
3 million to 1. But it's not after
No,
what we saw.
because if he doesn't start, he's 100% winning. Because then there's no reason to press him.
yeah.
Yeah, you're running your own race.
Yeah, like, let's
Forget
go.
me.
Get out of here, dude. I don't care about you.
All right, I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Alterman. He's Mike Somich. We'll see you guys tomorrow at the Breeders' Cup.